I'm Charlie Behrens, and welcome to The Dark Side Of, where we explore worlds that we've heard of but probably didn't know have a sinister side. This week, we're looking at the dark side of the modeling industry. It's an industry we all think we know. We see it in magazines, we see it on TV, but do you know what happens behind the scenes? What each of those models has to go through to give you what you think is a perfect image?
When I woke up, I didn't have any underwear on. I felt very scared.
There's no doubt that many of you have heard that the beauty industry has an ugly side. Unhealthy standards, destructive behavior, and blurry lines between what's professional and what's criminal.
I can't really look back now. This is all I know how to do, and this is all I can do.
Today, we're talking with Nikki, a former model who experienced the dark side of the industry firsthand. Nikki, thanks so much for sharing your story with us and sitting down with us. Why don't you start by telling us how old you were when you started?
I got into the modeling world when I was about 16 years old. I was actually determined to get into modeling because I had such a troubled childhood and a lot of issues at home that kind of propelled me into seeking fame and validation elsewhere. It was not the best mixture, I would say, of trying to get my face out there because my motivation was all wrong. When I was 16, I kind of saw a little hint that something wasn't right. I had a lot of people telling me that I needed to lose weight, that I wasn't good enough the way that I was. I was just very naive. And I thought, wow, I really need to do whatever it takes to please people if I want to work and get a job.
So what kind of modeling jobs were you booking and what kind of success were you having?
Early on, it was, difficult in the very beginning because I didn't fit the mold of what people in that business wanted me to be, which was very, very, very skinny to the point of being sick. And I was, a healthy, normal girl. I had to really change myself, put my health in jeopardy in order to start booking bigger jobs.
And how would you put your health in jeopardy?
I had photographers, after we would do a shoot, we'd come over and look at the pictures, and then they would basically slice off half of my body, and they're like, okay, now she looks good. I would go home and I would throw up, I would over-exercise. I took laxatives and pills, anything I could to try to make me fit into what they wanted. And eventually that broke me. I developed anorexia nervosa. It was only then that I became very, very sick and emaciated looking that I was finally told that I was good enough. And then I started to work a lot.
That's when things just got really bad.
I was invited to attend a casting at the director of my agency's house, and he told me, you need to come to this casting because you're going to get more jobs. This is a really good photographer who's going to, book you a lot if he likes you. But I noticed when I got there, there was no casting. It was just the photographer, his girlfriend. I felt uneasy. They started to pour champagne, and I drank one glass, went back inside, came back out. I drank another glass, and that's when everything went dark. I woke up and I was laughing uncontrollably. I felt so disoriented, and then everything went black again. The only things that I remember is being in a bedroom, being on a bed, everything being completely dark, feeling like I was not even in my own body, just feeling so out of my mind, and seeing the face above me of a person who was the photographer, feeling my underwear being taken off. Then I blacked out again.
So you believe you were assaulted. Do you think you were drugged at his house?
That's what I believe, because I had 2 drinks, and you don't fall on the floor from 2 drinks and black out. When I woke up, I didn't have any underwear on. I felt very scared. I'm in a dark room with a bad headache and feeling like I'm going to throw up. And when I asked him about what had happened, he looked at me like I was crazy and told me I was imagining things and that I should take a pair of his girlfriend's underwear. So I just got out of there.
Yeah, did you go to the police right after that?
At that time in my life, being very vulnerable and not understanding my place in the world and so many other things, I didn't go to the police. I do remember being scared. I thought about going to the police, but I was afraid of losing my job. So I just internalized all of that stress and all of that fear and started throwing up even more, and not even at the time really understanding why I was doing that. It was just kind of a natural coping mechanism, to deal with all the stress.
So can you tell us how you got out of the modeling industry?
My life basically just kept getting worse because I was so sick from anorexia. I had lost some of my hair, my fingers and my toes were constantly blue. I could wear kid-sized clothes. I was very, very sick. It was hard to leave at first because my agencies and the photographers were telling me that I was amazing, that I looked great and wanted to keep booking me. My mother was an alcoholic and she went into rehab, and I kind of took that opportunity to evaluate my life, and I started to think that maybe the modeling industry wasn't the best for me. And unfortunately, my mother died of a alcohol-related car accident, and it was so sudden and violent and brutal that it was like the final straw, and knowing that I had to do something drastic if I wanted to live also, because I could have died just like my mom.
You were so sick, but at your sickest, that's when the modeling industry said you were great.
Right.
Can you tell us where you are now?
It was such a turning point for me. My mom passed away. I went through intensive therapy and medical treatment, had to live at home. I couldn't work for almost 3 years. And I got to a better place where I could start to not throw up anymore, not starve anymore. I got on medication, and that put me on a path to where I eventually went into advocacy and started working on legislation for these very issues in the modeling industry.
The Talent Act, which I worked on, recently just passed last year. It provides health benefits and protections for models, especially pertaining to sexual harassment.
Modeling was a dream of mine at one time, but I realized that it was more of like a life lesson, and what I really enjoy now is working my mind, learning, being educated, and helping others who are struggling. I went back to school 5 years ago, and I'm planning on getting my PhD in psychology and, helping other people in the way that I once suffered.
What would you say to young women entering the modeling industry now?
Modeling is not a bad business, but you have to always ask yourself, why am I doing this? Like with young people, it's because you want to be famous. You want to feel validated, because that will never work. Do something because you are passionate about it and you love it, not because you feel like you have to, because that can be a recipe for disaster.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this story with us. It's very powerful. I think, it can definitely impact, especially a lot of young women entering the modeling field. So thank you so much. It was great. Now, Nikki's journey through the dark side of the modeling industry is only part of her story. She broke off her addictions, confronted her disorders, and found her way back, giving hope for others. I'm Charlie Behrens, and this is The Dark Side of.